Hey everyone, it's Alison Heikkila. Thank you so much for joining me. We are going to do some tone-on-tone stamping today. And I really wanted to use some of the newest colors of VersaFine Clair. So we have Hawthorn Rose, Baby Pink, and Avocado. And with that, I chose 3 colors of Memento Inks that work well with these VersaFine Clair colors. So we have Angel Pink, New Sprout, and Sweet Plum. And if you haven't seen all of the new colors, this is them. They're really fantastic. This one is my favorite. This is the Bally Blue, but we're not using that today. I do have a short on my YouTube channel that goes through all of the colors, and I've been using them here and there throughout various videos. So definitely a lot of spruce being used, and again, the Bally Blue. But today we're going to go with this color palette. So what I'd like to do is we're going to ink up our cardstock panel with the Memento colors, and then on top of that we're going to stamp with these. I have this new stamp set from Christina Werner and Concord and 9th. This is called the Checking In Stamps. There's coordinating dies too, but we don't need those today. We're going to use the You Are Loved, and we're going to repeat it. You'll see what we're going to do in a minute, but we're going to start off with the Memento inks, and I have a plain piece of cardstock here. Nothing fancy. You can use smooth Bristol, which is what I typically use, but we're going to just go with plain white cardstock. And I'm going to start with the Angel Pink and then move into the Sweet Plum and then the New Sprout. So my brushes are not perfectly clean. I don't wash them or anything, but I did try to get off any residual ink that I had so that we had as true to these colors as possible. But if they're a little off, that's why, because it's a little tricky to clean them unless I wash them, and then I can't use them for like a day. So I'm going to just apply some of the Angel Pink to my brush. And I'm not looking to get like perfect smooth ink blending to transition between the colors, because the Hawthorn, not the Hawthorn, the Sweet Plum and the New Sprout are really not going to blend together very well. So I'm not super concerned about getting like perfect transitions. I apologize for my camera bouncing a little bit. That's just the way my rig is. It's not the most stable. This is looking nice. I just want it to kind of fade into nothing, but I want it to be a little heavier over here. Anyway, those two colors are not going to blend super well together. They might make a bit of a brown, and I don't want that. So I'm not really worried about having perfect transitions here. We're just going to kind of block them out, but in a smooth kind of way. That looks okay. We might be good with that. We'll see. Now I'm going to grab my New Sprout and do the same thing. Nope, that's not what I want. I don't want New Sprout yet. I want Sweet Plum. Sorry. We're okay. I'm going to try not to go super dark with this because this is a pretty dark color. And I don't want you to not be able to see the Hawthorn Rose when we go on top. But because we're ink blending, the colors are automatically going to be a bit softer. That's looking a little splotchy, but that's all right. We'll figure that out. My Angel Pink, I think, needs to be re-inked a bit. I'm not loving this. We'll remedy that, though. I'm going to go back into the Angel Pink and try to get a little bit more color. That's better. Okay, now we're going to go into that New Sprout. Didn't block off these colors as well as I had hoped. I kind of was hoping to have a little bit more space between them, but I get a little overzealous sometimes when I'm ink blending. All right, they're not making a terrible shade where they overlap, so that's good. All right. We have to remedy this somehow. Do want to add a little bit more of the green in here and bring it out. There we go. They're kind of ending in a similar spot, but it's not like there's a distinctive line, so that's good. I didn't want there to be a distinctive line. That's looking okay. Let me bring it up to the camera. I'm just not loving those marks that the purple brush, that the purple brush left. Not really sure why that happened, but we will fix that. So the next part of this is going to be to add our sentiment to our panel here. I'm going to actually have my panel here because I'm going to raise it up and down. We're going to do our first stamping here so that I can sort of get it in the middle and then in the middle of each of the other sections. You'll see what I mean. And I'm not measuring, you guys. If you want to measure, you certainly can, but I'm not going to. Okay, so I've got my You Are Loved, and we're going to put that about there. I think that that's pretty good. I think that's okay. I'm going to close the door on my stamping tool, and I'm going to just rub it with my hand a little bit. This is the first time I'm using this stamp, so there could be a little bit of leftover oil or something from the machining process, so we just like to wipe that off. You don't have to use your hand if you don't want to. You can use like a cloth or something that doesn't leave any fuzz behind. Okay, so we've got that. So we're going to start with the Hawthorn Rose because we're in the middle there. And if you haven't used these inks, for sentiments yet, oh, you are missing out. Because my goodness, they are my favorite inks by far to use for sentiments. Look at that. That looks really nice. And that's just one stamping. We're going to do it again because, again, this is a new stamp, so it really hasn't been conditioned yet. And I'm just going to press that carefully. Perfect. I'll bring that up to the camera to show you. That looks great. Really good. Okay. So now I'm going to clean off my stamp because we're going to switch colors. We'll do the Avocado next. Now, there really was a lot of residual ink left on my green brush, so this is really not what New Sprout looks like. You can see that this is a little bit bluer, and this has more of a yellow tone. So forgive me for not doing a fantastic job on cleaning that off. But it'll be okay. It's still going to look good. Now, do I want them to be close together? This is the dilemma. Like this? Or do I want it to be in its own distinct area? I kind of feel like I want them to be close together, like so. Ooh, I have an idea. Okay. This is me figuring it out on the fly. All right, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to attach my magnet. And we're going to dip back into the Hawthorn Rose a little bit. I'm going to do it again. You see how I'm just doing the top there? All right, that's good. And now I'm going to clean this off again. We're going to put the Hawthorn Rose off to the side. We'll probably need that later. And now I'm going to go in with the Avocado and finish filling this in. Check that out. That's pretty cool. I like it. A little bit more. It shifted just a wee bit, but that's okay. That's all right. I'm going to bring this up. A little bit more. Try to give it approximately the same spacing that I have here. I think that's okay. And then I'm going to stamp the top. And it's just going to fall off the page, and that's fine. Nice. Okay, good. I'm going to remove this because we've got some ink happening here, and we're going to wipe this down and wipe off our stamp. Okay. Now we're going to take our panel again, and we're going to move it like this. So now we're going in the opposite direction. We're bringing it down so that our stamp is up higher on the panel. That looks okay. We're going to put that there, like so. I'm going to put my corner back in. I should have, oh, I shifted it a little bit. Let's check that. A little bit more. That looks good. Okay, so now we're going to go back into that Hawthorn rose and just do part of the loved. We got a little bit of the R too, but that's okay. That's fine. This is why having that corner is so helpful. Stamp it again. A little bit too much on there. I'm going to just use my chamois to kind of clean that off because we don't need quite so much. All right, that looks good. And now I'm going to clean this again. And now we're going to take our baby pink. And we're going to stamp that. Cool. And then one more time, we're going to shift this. A little bit more. Yeah, I think that's good. Can't really use the corner here in this particular corner, but I can do it like this to try to keep it in place. So now we're just going to ink up the bottom because it's going to, oh, that's going to stick onto the, not going to work there. We'll go like this. That works. Okay. I should have inked up a little bit more of the R. You can see that it's not quite covered. Perfect. That looks great. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that looks really cool. So we've got this panel and I'm really happy with how it looks, but we need more, especially because, again, I'm not real happy with those little bits happening there. So I have fireworks spray in Sweet Plum, Angel Pink, and Pear Tart. Now, we use New Sprout, but for some reason, I don't have New Sprout fireworks, and I thought that I did. So we're going to just do a little bit of shaking and get all of that lovely shimmery goodness to kind of work its way into the liquid. And then we're going to do a little bit of splatter. We're going to start with Angel Pink, and I'm going to just put this piece of paper there to kind of prevent that color from getting where I don't want it, because I'm going to try to keep them separate. Just splatter. That's good. And now I'm going to bring this down and place a new piece on top. I'm going to let a little bit of that show because I don't want a harsh line. And now we're going to work with the Sweet Plum. So you might be wondering, like, why didn't I just ink blend with the VersaFine Clairs, just using a lighter hand? And the reason for that is because those are pigments. And I really don't like to use my blending brushes with pigments. And also, I love using my Mementos with the blending brushes. So I didn't really think it was necessary to kind of take out like sponge daubers or do anything like that, because using the Mementos, they were close enough colors that I thought that they would look fine. So it's good to combine different inks. I went heavy with that Sweet Plum because of those marks that the brush left. And again, this might be a different color, but it still works well. Okay, a little bit more over here. And I think that that looks pretty good. Let's take a look. Yeah, that kind of masks a little bit. You know, it draws your eye away from those scratchy marks. Cool. All right, I'm going to wipe this up. We need something else. We need to jazz this up a bit. So I have this Eyelet Scallop border die from Spellbinders, and I have this piece of kind of semi-gloss cardstock. This is really old. I have no idea where it's even from, but I think it works really well. It's not the same color as what we have here, but it coordinates well. So I'm going to cut this out, and we're going to add this, and it's going to fill up this area really nicely. Look at how pretty this is. That little bit of shine. Okay, so we're going to glue this down, and then we're going to work on our card base. I've brought my VersaFine Clairs back in because we're going to add this color to the outer edge of our card base. You could use the Mementos if you want to, but I want it to be deeper in this case than the ink blending that we did. And that looks pretty good. I'm going to use the blended layer as a guide to where the colors should wind up. It doesn't have to be perfect, just approximate. Just adding that color so that we have a little bit more. I'm going to probably need to add some more right there, but that's okay. A little bit more interest to the card base. I do this very often with my cards, adding color to the edges instead of just leaving them white. But if you prefer to leave it white, that's okay. So you can see it's nice and rich, just like our stamping is. Check that out. All right, so I'm going to have to add a little bit more ink to these edges, but you get the idea. And then I'm going to trim this off too. I went ahead and glued that panel, and I have some card bling from A Colorful Life Designs. I have Luminous Whisper Pink, which I used up here, followed by Luminous Petticoat Pink, which is here, and then Metallic Lime, which is here. Is it a little overboard with the sequins? I don't think so, but you do what makes you happy. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to adhere these. I have my on point glue. I'm going to zoom in so that you can see exactly what I'm doing here. A little closer. Okay, so I have a pokey tool in my right hand. I'm right-handed. And then my glue also in my right hand. And then I'm going to take my jewel picker in my left hand. And I'm going to pick up a sequin, apply a little glue, and then stick it down with the pokey tool. The On Point glue is my favorite glue to use for sequins and gemstones. It works so well. It dries really fast. It's very strong. And I really like it. So you can see how quick it is to get these sequins down when you do it this way. We're almost done, folks. Last one. And then I like to tap this, try to get some of that glue out of the nozzle. Close it up, maybe, if I can see properly. Sorry, that was off screen for a moment. Okay. And here is our finished card. What do you think? I love it. I think that the colors are really cool together. So I hope you learned a couple of things. I hope you have some ideas. I'd love to know what color combinations you would try. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will be back again very soon with another video. Be well, stay safe. Peace out.